got to say Jacksonville. They got to look at Jacksonville and say, look, guys, let's not just get a moral victory. Let's get the victory, because right now, if you look at tonight's game, you know, you got San Diego Chargers playing against the Denver Broncos. Tonight's critical. They're only 3 games out of this. If Denver wins, so the Raiders have to say, look, guys, enough's enough. We got to figure this thing out. We're playing better offensively and defensively. This was the first game collectively this team played together as a unit. Because if you looked at Pittsburgh, the defense gave up 30-some points. They had to score 34 to win. This game was a complete game by the whole team collectively, so I think that they grew.
So this is a semantics argument. Maybe it's not a moral victory, but it better be a building block. They better come back next week and do at least the same, if not more.
You have something to build on.
You've seen enough. You said, these guys can compete.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't Atlanta just cashing it in because they were playing a bad team.
When I watched the Denver Bronco game, I'm worried. I'm like, how can they win another game?
Right.
But all of a sudden, and there goes the NFL for you. You know, from one week to the next, you know, you look at what the 49ers did yesterday. They looked like a bad football team yesterday. They just got beat by a really good football team.
The Texans.
Well, guess what?
Last night.
Absolutely. Same thing.
Who saw Green Bay coming up and beating the Texans?
At home.
At home. I never
did.
saw that. Never saw that.
But you see, you get your middle linebacker gets hurt. Who's the heart and soul of your defense? You see what happens week to week. For the Raiders, all of a sudden, Andre Carter comes. You don't know what he brings to that locker room. He may be one of those pillars that's kind of a calming, force in that locker room where the young guys on the defensive line, because maybe Seymour wasn't that guy, that leader, but maybe Carter is that guy that, hey, I can look up to this guy.
Remember you guys were making the argument to bring in a veteran wide receiver. Is Andre Carter that equivalent on the defensive side, a veteran, and young guys can watch him go to work and understand what it's like to be an NFL player? Is that the same thing? We hope so. Without a doubt, if he's doing that, then that's leadership. And you can't, leadership isn't taught. Leadership is earned. You don't just say, give someone leadership, give them that, this is a leader. You can't be self-made. You have to have someone that earns that leadership. And I know if I was playing with Bill, and Bill played this game, you tell me, right, you know, Bill, that if you walked in that locker room and guys were losing, it's the person that you look up to, and you walk in there as a player. When I played, I was like, guys, it's not going to happen. And guys revere that and like, look, we're going to change because we know our leaders don't want that.
Well, here's also what happens. If, you show up in the locker, I know as soon as I showed up at the Raiders, they're like, this dude's crazy, okay? But...
Same thing on this show.
You bet, hey,
yeah, no question.
But if I went out on that field and I didn't crack somebody in the head and make a couple plays, and if Lowe didn't go out there and knock the crap out of somebody on a block, that is what, when he says prove it, you got to prove it out on the field. Your name doesn't get you anywhere in the NFL.
Right.
It really doesn't. You have to go out and practice. So Andre Carter, I would assume, went out on that practice field and really showed
guys how to be champs.
How to be champs.
All right, a couple of 16-year NFL guys by my side. They know what they're talking about. Let's take a look at what's coming up for the Raiders. And it's a schedule while they sit at 1-4, guys. You're home for Jacksonville, a 1-win team. You go to Kansas City, and they're a flat-out mess. Poor Romeo Crennel just got himself in a bad spot. And Pioli didn't get himself the extension that everyone had tweeted about. And then Tampa Bay comes in with 2 wins, so the next 3 teams have combined 4 wins.
Here's what worries me. Jacksonville doesn't worry me, per se. Kansas City does a little bit because they got talented football players. They're just not playing very well because the quarterback had been Castle had been turning over the ball too much. That accounted for a lot of their losses. Tampa worries me. But here's the deal. All I want from this team, after that, I want them to be 2-4. That's all that matters.
2-4 after the next game.
That's all that matters to me because I want them to think about one thing.
3-4.
No.
Oh. 1 game at a time.
1 game at a time. That's all I want out of
I got them 4-4. What are you talking about? Go ahead.
Hey, I want them 2-4.
Is that right? Start with 2-4.
Absolutely.
Start there.
And that's what Bill's saying. You go, you win for take care of what you can take care of. This week, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars coming into town. You need to collectively as a team. Dennis Allen needs to grab this team and say, guys, it's time. Let's ride the ship. We've grown up. We played against the only team that's undefeated, and we played them wire to wire, and we blow for blow. Let's move forward now. Let's win this game at home. Let's give our crowd something to cheer about, and let's make the fans want to come out for the following weeks. We have something going right now. So if they do that, I think they'll be all right. Let's just win one game.
You know, there are things, you know, when we saw this schedule, first starting the year, we're like San Diego. We got to get that one. The next game's a little tougher. We're thinking Miami, you got to get that. That's just a gimme. That was a win on your, well, that didn't happen. Well, guess what? When you saw Jacksonville, you put a W right there.
No question.
Guess what? When you have those games you're supposed to win, you need to go out and get them. That's what they need to do.
Must win. This is a must.
Absolutely.
If the Raiders want to salvage this season, and if they're going to say we have a chance to complete, because especially if Denver happens to win tonight, win, lose, or draw, the Raiders are right back in it. And if they win tonight, like me and the 16-year guys talking about, we're going against you, by the way.
Alrighty,
if they win, Coles versus
I'm telling
Pros,
you,
if
San
they
Diego's
win tonight, I'm going to tell you right now, the Raiders looking and saying, we're right back in this thing. Take care of, like Bill said, win one game. Win, beat Jacksonville, and oh my, we're right back in this.
What do you got to do to beat Jacksonville, though? And I know we could say more of the same, but they've got a great running game. Maurice Jones-Drew's coming back home. Remember, De La Salle kid. So he's coming back to a comfortable place. He's going to want to run the heck out of the ball.
Stop the run.
Hey, you got to stop the run.
There you go.
You're probably not going to be playing nickel the whole game.
Because you did.
You did last
on Sunday
week.
against Matt Ryan.
You're not going to be playing it again.
You're looking at a completely different team.
I think you put 8 in the box and you say, Blaine Gabbert, you got to beat us because we're not going to let Jones-Drew beat us.
Can I ask you who's your 8? I mean, and by that I mean more the linebacker situation, because we noticed, and everyone noticed, Rolando McClain did not get the bulk of the snaps, right? They had some other guys, and Miles Burris was addressed in the press conference right now as a guy who stepped up and made the play.
Yeah.
And Wheeler led him in tackles the way he played this game.
Well, I hope that Mr. McClain, because I can't call him anything but Mr. McClain right now.
Okay.
He doesn't deserve to be called by his first name.
Oh, my.
Right.
Oh, my is right.
Oh, isn't he 50?
Okay.
I thought it was numbers until you call him names, right? You're 55.
Hey, he's beyond that.
Oh, okay, he's beyond
Mr.
55.
McClain.
Okay.
Okay? If he was one of the guys, if he was out there kicking ass,
yeah,
he'd be Roe.
Roe.
Low.
Low. Romo.
Roe.
Okay, I got
hey,
you.
There's no Roe.
No.
Okay? He's called Mr. McClain till I see him go out and crack some heads like he did in the first game because he's got that ability.
And this is a game, too, Bill, that it's a 9-on-7. When you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're built around Maurice Jones-Drew. And the Raiders have to say, look, guys, we're going to have to play 9-on-7 this coming Sundays. Let's put on our big boy pads, defense, and let's stop the run. Let's put 8, 9 guys in the blocks, and we say, corners, we're going to step up. We're going to play some man-to-man, single safety high. And guess what? We're going to dare you to run the ball, and we're going to stop the run, and then we're going to dare you to throw it. Make them beat you. If we're going to lose, we're going to lose this game in the air. We're not going to lose it on the ground.
No. Kinders brings us Raiders press conference live the day after every Raiders game. Man missing in the middle. How about Rolando McClain? He played 17 of 55 plays for the defense. On the other hand, Miles Burris, all 55 plays in that game against the Atlanta Falcons. So McClain, his numbers dwindling just a little bit. We just got done talking about Rolando McClain, so we wanted to illustrate to you where he was on the field or wasn't on the field.
He was he was delivering water.
Was that what he was doing?
To Burris
holding
and
guys'
Wheeler.
helmets on the side.
Oh, yeah.
You
guys are
Wheeler was making plays, and Burris was making plays, and McClain was making sure they were okay.
Yeah, he's bringing them water.
Well, let me ask you
water
this.
and Gatorade.
Let me ask you this. I don't know if we can call him a young player, but is this a lesson?
In fact, now he's got to bring the chicken on the plane.
Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
That's the deal. He's going. He gets demoted back to that level.
Yeah, he's going back to the coop.
Let me ask you, though, is this a wake-up call, though? Is this the wake-up call for a guy who's supposed to be a beast in the middle out of Alabama?
You're a first-round pick out of Alabama, a great school, great university. And I think this guy, McClain, needs to start having some pride about it and say, okay, guys, everyone's called me out. I got a, arguably Hall of Famer and Bill Romanowski. I got people saying I need to step up and hold my load. I got the media, everyone, players. They're saying, is this guy who he says he is? So I would love to see this guy come in. Now the wake-up call is here. Coach understands that, so we'll see if he steps up.
I don't know if I'm right, but I think they have a $4 million option on that guy next year.
Yeah, well, guess what?
Shouldn't that be incentive, too?
Guess what? You ever hear raptor arms?
Yes, I have. When the check
You better
comes.
be careful because those raptor arms ain't going to be getting down in there
Nope.
if you don't step out there and start hitting some people
Mr.
McClain.
There you go.
Because I wasn't going to call him Rolo.
1-4 heading into a game against Jacksonville. Are they out of it in the West? Bill, are they out of it with 1-4?
No, you know what? You see what they did yesterday? All of a sudden, you're like, wow, this thing could be turned around. They played arguably one of the best teams in, definitely in the NFC, but in the league, and they held their own and outplayed them. So guess what? This is a long season.
Guys, take a look at this. San Diego Chargers, 3-2. Look at Denver, 2-3. Denver could have 4 losses tonight, or San Diego can have 3 losses tonight. If that happens, they're 1 game behind. So if you look at this, they're right in this thing. So Oakland Raiders, you know what, boys? Let's go play some football. This is the National Football League. It's a week to week. If you want it, go get it.
They got Kansas City twice.
Yep.
Okay. You got Denver again. You got San Diego again.
You got to go down to San Diego. You get Denver in your place.
Absolutely.
So 4 games in your division still. So that gives you the chance to make up the ground right away.
Absolutely.
All right. You've been an advocate always in the past of coach the opposite of how you feel.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
So what attitude do you have going in? You just came off a really good game. Are you feeling really good about your team?
No.
What's the attitude you're giving your team this week?
You lost. You lost, and you want to be, there's a part of you, you lost, but you lost pretty good. It's a pretty good loss. But guess what? You still lost, and there's a part of Dennis Allen that's kind of want to jump right up there, you know what, and really get after him. Well, guess what? Opposite the way he feels would be take it down a notch. You guys know you got your butts kicked. Man to man, I can look you in the eye now and say, you guys kind of arrived. You didn't finish it, but you arrived. That's what I expect out of you every week. And I think he can feel pretty good and actually have a man-to-man conversation with them.
I agree with Bill. They won the one-on-one matchups yesterday. That was, they outscored. I mean, everywhere was set the scoreboard. I mean, they had more total yards rushing, more passing yards. The defense actually beat up on, Matt Ryan looked horrible. When you look at this team, now the coach has to say, guys, I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to go crazy. Look, we had some penalties, but you know what? We competed. We had an opportunity to win this game, and I think that, like Bill said, they'll build on this.
All right.